The word of the day for today, Tuesday, December 28th, 2021, is kith. Kith. It's a noun meaning acquaintances, friends, neighbors, or the like. Persons living in the same general locality and forming a more or less cohesive group. The dictionary.com examples weren't particularly helpful from my perspective today. But the origin that they go through and share is pretty interesting. Provides some context that's useful for using the word and just the fun of understanding where our words come from. The way that I would use kith, or I see kith being a relevant word, obviously we have the phrase kith and kin, and that's one of the things that gets talked about in the examples on dictionary.com. But as I try to imagine what does kith look like at this point in history, at least in the United States where I live, I started to think of the word ilk, which is like a commonality of type. So Jeff and his ilk, so people like Jeff, where that is a commonality of type or familiarity of type. We can imagine kith as a commonality of relationship, and perhaps living and experiencing and doing the same activities creates a sort of generates people of a certain type, or that generates attributes that are shared across individuals, and therefore your kith may generate an ilk. But as we imagine a world that is more digital and dispersed, I imagine kith being more descriptive of a combination of communities and activities that are necessitated by, as it says in the definition, a shared general locality. So your neighborhood, right? Our neighborhoods come to have these auras or these sort of socially accepted themes and characteristics. So I think there is some of that kith can be descriptive of, but then a less well accounted for part of kith might be speaking from the last 2 years of experience, the communities you choose to be a part of and choose to put time and effort into, and those could be online and not driven by necessity or by practicality, as right your grocery shopping at the same store, your use of the same buses, your recreational activity at the same recreational facilities, whether those are restaurants, clubs, sports facilities, those types of things, but generated by not by that same necessity and locality and the practicality of movement, but also chosen. So I think that that's a space where kith can continue to be used and can be stretched beyond this idea of kith being the group that you're living in the same general locality with. and pushing us more nowadays into forming, right, as the last part of the definition, forming a more or less cohesive group, creating a cohesive group by choice as opposed to by accident or by necessity, as physical space tends to create. So perhaps useful in a new way, in this new, a new but consistent way, in this kind of new way of living that we're doing.